Good evening, everyone. Happy Monday. We have a Division E, scratch that, Division D East matchup today. Screaming Weenies roaring in at 1-13, and LuBu coming in at 11-1. We are on upset alert. Not only are we on upset alert, but we have both teams here ready to go, so we will waste no time hitting the start button in this two-game set between Screaming Weenies and LuBu. Game 1 will be played on Cursed Hollow, the choice of LuBu, which means Screaming Weenies, the team on the left. The blue team will get first pick, first ban. And let's see who they go with. Really taking their time nowadays. In the meta right now, you see a lot of Asmo bans first, maybe not on Cursed Hollow. You see white mains banned out, the occasional Diablo, Phoenix sometimes banned, Genji, Muradin from time to time, Abathur from time to time. All kinds of different heroes that you see banned out. And we will see Kael'thas banned. LuBu will respond momentarily with their first ban. And let's see who they go with. Here in NGS at this point in the season, both of these teams probably have a little bit of intel on each other. So don't be surprised if you see a targeted ban, especially with the team like LuBu, that it is at the top, and there is the Asmo ban coming out from LuBu. Apparently, the side of Screaming Weenies, we're going to run a Fat Guy comp. That is now off the board, with Asmo ban being utilized. Screaming Weenies will respond with a Deckard Cain, so they are banning out the Skinny Guy comp, with Kael'thas and Deckard Cain not being able to participate in this Game 1. Game 2 map choice of Screaming Weenies will be played on Volskaya Foundry when we get there. And Urel, I didn't even mention her in the list of commonly banned heroes, but she is most certainly on that list. See her banned out frequently. She is really annoying to play against. However, Screaming Weenies won't have to deal with that. She will not be played, at least in this Game 1. First pick now available for this guide of Screaming Weenies, and they are going to go with the aforementioned White Mane. I haven't had a chance to cast a whole lot of White Mane, primarily because she is banned out so much. An immediate response, a global Tahaka and Gul'dan selected for the side of LuBu. Tahaka, one of the more popular off-laners, the ability to soak in the side and then brush stalker in from all the way across the map, and you can land that clutch drag to be part of a CC chain. Can be really effective in a team fight. Also, the isolation, so powerful. However, Screaming Weenies coming back with the massive front line in the form of Diablo and Blaze. Big health pools, lots of crowd control. And I really like that set of picks. Not showing their damage. There's so much damage still available for the side of Screaming Weenies to pick. Jaina, though, won't be one of them, so no fire and ice unless they go with Kel'Thuzad. Coming out for Screaming Weenies as Jaina was taken off the board by LuBu. And let's see who the Screaming Weenies respond with. I would guess some kind of a support, continued support choke, possibly a tank as well. And it is a tank-ish with a question mark, because we will not see Varian Taunt, Colossus Smash, or Windblades taken out of this game by Screaming Weenies, and the immediate Junkrat Tyrande picking up for LuBu. This is the first post-rework Tyrande I've seen in an NGS game. Her owls give really good information here on Cursed Hollow, allows you to check to see if those bosses are being selected And it looks like with the tank still needed for the side of LuBu, we are going to find out right here, ladies and gentlemen. Can Tyrande solo heal? And do my eyes deceive me? Or is that a Nova picked by Screaming Weenies and a Thrall? A solo ranged assassin Nova combined with a huge front line of Thrall, Diablo, and Blaze. I assume we will see Precision Strike comboed into all that CC. And then Johanna taken out, selected I should say, by LuBu. I try to stay partial. However, any side that picks any side that picks Nova, I'm going to kind of be rooting for a little bit. But don't tell anybody. That's our secret. So, going over which side won the draft, I have to say it is a hard win for the side of Screaming Weenies, because when you pick Nova, regardless of the outcome of the game, you are a winner. Really interested to see what they do with this Nova in all seriousness. The last time I casted a Nova game was in Nexus, or it was in Share League, I should say. And it was actually Steph, then Oddish on, what was her team name? Give me a minute, it'll come to me. Sweet Synergy, and they ran a Zagara Devouring Maw comp with Precision Strike. And it was really good, actually, but that's the last time I casted a Nova game. So, we will see how that rolls, as we are very close to jumping into this game. It should be just a moment as I finish putting these guys' names in here.
Let the battle begin.
Alright, for the blue team, the Screaming Weenies, we have Udonomancer on Diablo, Mumin13 on Blaze, Tatriakis on Thrall, Pez playing Nova, and Grogman playing White Mane. The red team, LuBu riding the top of the standings, Makrota playing Johanna, Alan Hicks on Dahaka, Bandit playing Gul'dan, VDZ on Junkrat, and Streakwing on Tyrande. So in the bottom lane, we actually have two sets of solos with a 3-stack for each side, clashing in the mid lane. In the bottom, Dahaka squaring off against Blaze. Blaze, over time, will win this lane, assuming equal skill, and you can kind of see that already a little bit, but it'll take a little while for Blaze to really start winning this lane. However, in the top lane, Junkrat needs to be careful. The Bear Trap catches out Pez and Nova, and VDZ will be just fine as Thrall and Junkrat continue to square off. Really nice placement of the Steel Trap by VDZ. If you're going to run a Nova, you absolutely want to get kill pressure. You want to rotate up safely or down safely, wherever you are. And Junkrat is clearly the obvious target. Tyrande and Gul'dan have already rotated onto the Giants. No such rotation yet from the side of Screaming Weenies. And it's going to be here about 15 seconds-ish until the first tribute will be announced. There's the talents for anybody that's so inclined to check them out. So that's certainly one of the advantages of a Johanna, Tyrande, and Gul'dan. Rotated away Johanna, more than capable of clearing out the lane, staying safe, and soaking. Let's go ahead and take a look at this top lane. Looks like Thrall has been the victim of a punishing poke The constant grenades and auto attacks coming out from Junkrat have really done a number by Thrall, and he has said, forget this, I'm going to go help my girl Nova on these giants. It is going to be maybe a hair late. However, Screaming Weenies will certainly get more value out of these giants than LuBu will out of the bottom, simply due to the location of the tribute spawn, which is in the bot lane. Alan Hicks does land the tongue. Newman forced to walk away. Nice damage coming out by Bandit on the Gul'dan. Both sides are here. Both sides are here in force. And with the Siege Giants pushing in the top lane for Screaming Weenies, the longer this objective gets poked out, the more value they will get out of their Siege Giants. A flanking jet propulsion, however, Blaze has no mana. The Hunter's Mark has gone on him. He has decided that he no longer wants to be a part of this battlefield. He actually figured he was probably going to go down, and he actually made the right call. Just stand and fire. Do as much damage as you can on your way out the door. However, Blaze, Forced Blood for LuBu. Giants still pushing in the top lane, and a nice aggression by Diablo. However, he is pretty low. Lunar Flare does not connect. The drag does onto Nova. She is running for her life. Diablo overpowered and now has to run away. Actually, Dahaka overpowered, I should say. And now it looks like Screaming Weenies are going to tap. They're going to reset. Concussion Mine is out. Diablo in trouble on this backside. There is no tower to bring him down. However, Whitemane and Nova are there. That will be enough counter kill from the side of Screaming Weenies, and now they are posturing forward, attempting to zone away LuBu while they channel this objective. I don't think Grogman realized he wasn't channeling. He actually stood there for a second. Now finally doing so, and patience was a virtue for the side of Screaming Weenies as they are able to win over the first tribute, complete with a Carbet Deckard Cane Spray. And you could see the damage those Siege Giants did in the top lanes, basically single-handedly taking down a top tower for the side of LuBu. And now the second tribute will arrive here in about 30 seconds. Both teams should be even talents. However, the side of LuBu timing this objective, or this camp, I should say, pretty close to perfectly. They're going to grab this right as the tribute spawns. There they go. And now both teams are moving toward the tribute. It is the side of Screaming Weenies. Dahaka overpowered, jet propulsion. He does burrow down and uses his essence and is still running away very low on life. However, Alan Hicks able to keep himself up, and now it's Blaze being body blocked in by Diablo, and Thrall the first to fall. Diablo in trouble as well. Shadow charges Johanna out of the way. Pez using the decoy on the defense. And tribute will be going over to the side of LuBu, as well as a kill onto the Blaze. One of the things about Nova, and I play a lot of Nova, whenever my boys will let me, I try to play Nova. She's a ton of fun. However, she comes online damage-wise at 7. Assuming she's hitting her sack. So let's see what Pez is going to do. I really want to see Screaming Weenies here reset. Their health is low, their mana is low. I'd like to see them fully top off before the next tribute spawn. And I didn't mention, that was actually really nice job by LuBu to hide in the spell armor and really pressure that middle lane. They got the entire mid lane wall and about a full level lead with that push there. Once again, however, Screaming Weenies will have the Siege Giants pushing in the top lane. Both teams are rotating down. I don't like this call at all. It is probably too late for these. However, Screaming Weenies trying to put some more pressure on the map. The Sentinel will catch them out, and they will capture this literally right as the tribute is spawning, almost simultaneously. So actually, ignore everything this caster said. Clearly, I have no idea what I'm talking about. Screaming Weenies was on point with that timing here. Diablo is a little bit low. And now even lower with all the Gul'dan poke damage coming out. And LuBu just hard zones away the side of Screaming Weenies. They also have their level 10s. It is going to be Shadow Stalk, Isolation, Horrify, Riptire, and Blessed Shield. One of the reasons I didn't like the call there on the camps was, even though they were at the objective, the tribute, on time, they weren't able to get very good positioning, and
Gather tribute.
I don't think it really would have made a difference simply because LuBu already had their level 10s. However, were they there earlier without the mercs, maybe they can position themselves better for that. Nova here waiting in the wings, maybe trying to catch the Haka. Screaming Weenies really needs their level 10s to contest this, and they are going to get it almost exactly as this tribute spawns. The question is, will it be in time? We do have Precision Strike available for the first interrupt, and there it is. Earthquake, Bunker Drop. Tyrande is still there, and she's able to get it. Blaze wasn't quite able to handle the interrupts. Does land a double stun with the jet propulsion. Now Blaze running for his life. Diablo caught too far out. Does charge in onto Gul'dan. Despite the earthquake, Diablo falls, and the first curse of the game will go over to LuBu. They are 4-man pushing in the bottom lane. Junkrat has split off to the mid to apply some pressure there. This fort is not long for this world, will not be around for too much longer. And LuBu starting to take control of this game 1.
Red team has destroyed a fort. Red team has destroyed a fort.
Oh, sorry for the little lag spike there.
Red team has destroyed a fort.
So that is 3 forts for Screaming Weenies falling, and look at this huge wave that is going to crash into the top keep here. Blaze wisely making his way up there. That is so much banked XP there for him to collect. LuBu, in the meantime, going to start painting the battlefield red. They have taken the mid lane bruiser camp, and Screaming Weenies actually, I think they figured that LuBu is on boss and they may as well trade, and they are correct. Both teams have started taking the bosses. These guys will probably be captured at about the same time-ish. However, this boss for LuBu will be pushing directly on to keep. No fort to go through. Will have much more value. They also have the bruiser camp pushing down the mid lane. They also finished their boss first, so they will be able to rotate and start putting damage on this boss first. Screaming Weenies on the back foot. If you're Screaming Weenies right now, you want to get to 13, catch LuBu at about 13, 15, 13, 14 level-wise, and try to force something on the same tier. So both sides have cleaned up the boss. They did minimal damage to either structure. Junkrat, was he caught out? No. Concussion Mine does go out, and here is the invade by LuBu, using the level 13s, their talent tier advantage, to posture in and take the bruiser camp here away from the side of Screaming Weenies. It doesn't look like the Weenies are really interested in contesting this. They're kind of hovering in the area, and now they will rotate safely. Screaming Weenies, they might, it'll be close, be able to get 13 in time to come up here and contest this objective. I think they're running out of time, though. Diablo is here, Thrall has arrived, Whitemane has arrived, Nova and Blaze on their way. However, they still do not have 13 talent tiers. There goes the Earthquake. Thrall concussioned mine into the entire LuBu team. Precision Strike does catch 3, but Thrall goes down, horrified, splitting out the members of Screaming Weenies. Great heroic by the use of Whitemane to really mitigate that Riptire damage. However, this is a 5-on-4, and I really think this is only a matter of time before Screaming Weenies go down. Blaze does miss on the jet propulsion, isolated away from his teammates. They are split up. And the white flag coming out from the side of Screaming Weenies. Another tribute going over to LuBu. I'll be honest, with Thrall going down so fast in that engagement, I'm kind of surprised Screaming Weenies didn't lose more, but they were able to disengage more or less intact and without losing any more members. And this is the time for Screaming Weenies to contest the next tribute. Will pop here very soon, and the levels will be something like 13 to 14 or 13 to 15. Now Nova is here. She does know this invade is coming for the side of LuBu from over the wall. A triple root coming out from Thrall. However, Screaming Weenies are split, and let's see how they decide to take this engagement. Not quite on the same page. Nova not here. Whitemane not here. They are clearing top. And are they going to concede another tribute to LuBu? I don't think that they should. They are coming down. They will be here, but maybe a little later than they would like to be. Johanna once again creating a zone, and I do not know how they are going to interrupt that tribute. They're not. Concussion Mine hits Blaze again. The drag from Alan Hicks not on the mark, and Newman able to jet propulsion to safety. However, the late rotation by the side of Screaming Weenies means this next tribute they are going to have to contest down a talent here, as level 16 will be here or very close to here for LuBu. If they don't have it yet, that would be big time, as Screaming Weenies cannot let another tribute go over to the side of LuBu. Blaze is checking the Bruiser camp. He has found members. Now looks like LuBu, without 16s, they're not posturing up. Maybe they don't really contest. They do. They are moving up. They're on the verge of 16. This is the first time in a long time that Screaming Weenies has the positional advantage. However, the big time engage from the Dahaka catches Blaze, and then the Dahaka catches the isolation on Thrall. Alan Hicks on that Dahaka making the plays. First the drag onto Blaze, and then the isolation onto Thrall, setting up both of those kills. Pez in a lot of trouble, being pelted by grenades from Junkrat, and that is a triple kill and curse for LuBu. And ladies and gentlemen, Screaming Weenies are in a world of trouble. Johanna rotating aggressively. Concussion Mine is able to catch out Whitemane, as is a big-time Lunar Flare by Streakwing. Down goes Whitemane. LuBu now hiding in the spell armor from this Bruiser camp. They have their eyes set on one, maybe more. Keeps Udo Dancer not able to get to the safety of the bunker. He falls as well. And Blaze heads back to the Hall of Storms, and this could be the beginning of the end for the Screaming Weenies. Fort number 1 has fallen, and now LuBu is posturing actually for keep number 2. They're reinforcing a massive wave and siege giant push bottom, and they will get at least 2 keeps, and the third one is actually falling to the minion wave as well. Riptire does chunk out Whitemane pretty hard. Thrall also running for his life, condemned, not able to get much value. Concussion Mine does Shadow Charge to get away. Earthquake comes out. Horrify comes out. Thrall is in trouble, and down he goes. Jet Propulsion not able to keep Thrall up. And I believe this is going to be game 1 going over to LuBu here fairly soon. Katas are here. The core shields are down. The top keep has fallen. Minions coming from all three lanes. However, LuBu is withdrawing. I'm a little bit surprised, but sometimes better safe than sorry. They did manage to destroy all three keeps for the side of Screaming Weenies. They also did about 20% core damage and now have taken the bruiser camp of LuBu. I'm sorry, of Screaming Weenies, and they are pushing toward core one more time. Here comes the Riptire from Junkrat. It does catch none because of a well-timed bunker. However, Nova in trouble on the backside. Double silence with the level 20 upgrade on Isolation. Nova goes down. Alan Hicks is not able to land the drag. However, damage going onto the core and huge triple jet propulsion by Blaze, and members of LuBu are falling. Gul'dan and Junkrat both go down. Earthquake used to lock them here, and they're on the full retreat. However, maybe too little too late. The Katas are locking in, and this is going to be Weenies for LuBu. And there it is. Game one in fairly commanding fashion. Going over to LuBu over the Screaming Weenies. So I was pulling for the Nova. I really wanted to see it. They just were unfortunately not able to secure kills, and that's really Nova's job. She has to put out kill pressure. And despite having a couple of good targets back there in Tyrande and Gul'dan, just wasn't able to get the pressure on the backline that you want when you pick a Nova. There's the builds if you're so inclined to check those out. So game two, we will be moving on to Volskaya Foundry. That is the choice of Screaming Weenies. So let's see if moving on to their battlefield of choice changes out the results and they're able to pick up the split. Volskaya Foundry, of course, is the newest battlefield that is currently in the NGS and HGC competitive map pool. And Volskaya Foundry is all about the toys. The more toys you get, the better you utilize them, talking about the siege turrets and the bionic emitters. The better you're able to utilize those items to collect them over your opponents, to utilize them, not lose them to the opponent, the more success you're going to have on Volskaya Foundry. Those items are just so huge. So we do have almost all of the members of the Screaming Weenies here. We will be getting the members of LuBu here momentarily. And don't go anywhere after this Div E East matchup. We actually have a double header tonight. Next game will be Division A, so moving up the ladder, where we will have Divine 9, the reigning Division B Grand Champions who promoted themselves up to Division A, taking on the top of the standings, actually very close to it. I believe they're in third place, Stepdads. So that should be a really good game. Divine 9 actually playing right now in an uncasted matchup with adults with jobs, so they'll be riding the doubleheader just like we will. All right, so looks like we have all members of both teams are here. And we're going to be jumping into game number 2. On Volskaya Foundry. Volskaya Foundry, definitely a different feel than Cursed Hollow. The objectives tend to be long, drawn-out battles. So anybody that can really hold down those points is Asmoban banned out one more time for LuBu. Alex Straza, Deckard Cain, another Kael'thas ban coming out from the Screaming Weenies. Johanna also good. If you want to get really memey, I've seen the occasional kind of Gazlo Probius thing going on for point control. Those same bans coming out for the side of LuBu. No Yrel, no Asmodan, no Phoenix, no Kael'thas for the side of the Screaming Weenies. And first pick for LuBu. Who are we going to see? I always sit so low in this one, so man. There we go, much better. So we do have the Dahaka taken again by LuBu. Alan Hicks on Dahaka was so good last game. The really back-breaking team fight was really set up by him. Typically, you don't see Dahaka prioritized so highly on Volskaya Foundry. There's simply less bushes and steam vents to be taken for your Brush Talker. And then a Diablo Gul'dan. So Gul'dan one more time. And Screaming Weenies opened up with a Muradin, Junkrat. So some of the same heroes, but swapping sides, with Diablo going over to the side of LuBu, Junkrat coming over to the side of Screaming Weenies. And the Weenies will take out Whitemane. She will not participate in round number 2, or game number 2 of this match. Let's see who LuBu is going to take out. Tehran, interesting. So don't want to see Tehran coming out on the side of Screaming Weenies. I would expect Alex Straza has to come into this game, especially actually for LuBu, because Diablo and Alex Straza are really good together. And we're going to see an Anubarak and Nazeebo. So a lot of displacement, a lot of poke coming out from Nazeebo and Junkrat, a lot of stuns and even escapes with a Muradin, Anubarak front line. LuBu will round out their draft with a Rhaegar Zagara. Wow. The Dahaka and the Zagara, that is going to be a lot of pressure all over this map. Double globals, a lot of wave clear, a lot of pushing pressure. And then an Ana taken for the side of the Screaming Weenie. So interesting, apparently Pez only plays snipers because he went from Nova to Ana. I wonder how well Screaming Weenies will be able to respond to all of the map pressure that's going to come out from a Zag and a Dahaka. That's really, I think, going to go a long way to determine who wins this game 2. Alright, game 2 on Volskaya Foundry. The blue team hoping for a split and their second win of the season, the Screaming Weenies. Udonomancer on Muradin, Immune Man 13 on Junkrat, Tatriakis on Nazebo, Pez on Ana, and Grogman on Nubarak. And the red team riding in first place in Div E East. We have Bandit on Gul'dan, Streakwing on Rhaegar, Alan Hicks on Dahaka, Makrota on Diablo, and VDZ on Zagara. So we can already see Dahaka is soloing top, Zag is soloing bottom. Only 3 members from LuBu are here in the mid lane for the traditional gentleman's duel between the two teams. There is, I guess unless they send Naz down there, I just don't see that they have anybody that can match up with Zagara in lane. And you really don't want to send Naz down there. You want to keep Naz in the double lanes, rotating as many stacks as he can possibly get. Let's go check in on that bottom lane, because Anubarak will not win this. There's just no way for Anubarak to keep up with the clear, the sustain, and the poke. You can already see that taking effect. What I'd like to see VDZ do is, though, really punish Grogman for stepping in and getting those globes. Those should be my globes if you're Zagara, and nobody else gets to touch them. So Zag is already paying big dividends in the top lane. The 4-mans are going pretty close to even. And with a Nazebo, the longer this game goes on, if it does get post 20, which on Volskaya they can most certainly do, that is going to favor Nazebo very strongly, as Zagara has a wall of creep here. And we mentioned the toys in the pregame. Rhaegar, probably the best murking of any of the supports, using that strength to go pick up the turret for himself. No response from the side of Screaming Weenies. They haven't prioritized any kind of items or anything, and now Nazebo coming down here to reinforce Anubarak, as does Gul'dan and Diablo and Rhaegar. So actually 4 members from LuBu coming down to respond to the solo Nazebo.
We've redesigned our tree glove protectors for combat in the next.
So first objective's coming up. Grogman is gonna have to go back to the Hall of Storms. He has taken so much poke between the Gul'dan and the Zagara. There is so much siege pressure and poke. And now Zagara actually invading with Diablo. The concussion mine does poke Diablo out. However, the Gul'dan pressure, the damage over time, just forces the Weenies out. And LuBu is really sitting strong. Even though we're only 3 minutes into this game, they have 2 turrets. There are no turrets available for the side of Screaming Weenies. They have about a full level advantage. And they still have Zag pushing in that bottom lane. However, here comes Zag coming into this team fight. This is all over the place. A lot of displacement used on Dahaka. However, he is right back in here, and now Anub is very low. Muradin dwarf tosses in. Nazebo in trouble. A nice peel from Muradin. Stormbolt onto Alan Hicks right under the tower. So Alan Hicks actually took a lot of damage. However, LuBu was forced to use both of the turrets. And they're actually going to be here long enough for the first Rock'em Sock'em robot of this game to go over quickly and decisively to the side of LuBu.
Blue team has taken control of a protector.
So normally you see the Triglav Protector used to take some of the wall out in the mid lane before rotating off. However, LuBu just deciding a drive-by was good enough. And they are really laying into this top lane, prepping for the second objective. This front wall has already gone down, well over a full level advantage for the side of LuBu. They are able to take out the fountain, and now they are rotating into the mid lane. With only 10 seconds left on this, they're going to get one quick combo out onto this tower. That should be enough to take it down. And now the robot will expire. Nice concussion mine. Does isolate out at Dahaka. Doesn't look like they have quite enough damage to finish him off. And he is able to limp to the loving arms of his teammates without dying. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, once again, Gul'dan Zagara putting so much pressure here. Anubarak has no way to respond to this. He is so low, doing the very best that he can. But they're going to absolutely need to send Anubarak reinforcements if they're going to leave him down here with Zag. Because she is just absolutely getting work done. Burrow Charge does land onto Zag. She doesn't care. Just kind of puts out some more summons and some auto attacks. Anubarak by himself just not going to put any pressure onto Zagara. So both sides have picked up yet another siege turret. The side of LuBu has actually picked up the top giants. They will be pressuring in. And LuBu now on the verge of their heroics. And they're going to use that level 10 advantage to pick up the biotic emitter and really put themselves on a leg up for the second fight over the Triglav Protector. Concussion Mine being nothing more than annoying there. We have Ancestral Healing, Isolation, Horrify, and it's actually Devouring Maw, not Nidus Network. So this is a more of a team fighty approach coming out of the Zag, and Lightning Breath for Diablo. Speaking of Devouring Maw, there it is. It only catches Muradin. He is able to dwarf toss to safety. That was a whole lot of cooldown used for very little result. They did secure the mid fort though. Level 10s will be reached by Screaming Weenies, and this is going to be their big chance. Grogman is caught out. He is burrow charged almost to safety. The slowing totem by Rhaegar is holding him there. And Gul'dan able to drain life through the wall and finish off the Anubarak. It is going to be Gargantuan for Nazebo, Nano Boost for Ana, Riptire for Junkrat, Avatar for Muradin, and Cocoon, the Web Wrap coming out for Anubarak. So both teams are here in their entirety, except for Anub, of course, who just is now coming back from the Hall of Storms. The Stormbolt Concussion Mine Isolation does come out onto Diablo and actually forces out the Biotic Emitter. That's a small victory for the side of the Screaming Weenies. Get them to use that item so early in the battlefield, or in this battle for this objective, I should say. However, that Maw was huge. A triple Maw. Lightning Breath probably going to come out of here, but Diablo Junkrat actually lands a huge Riptire that put a lot of pressure onto Zag. And counter aggression coming out from Screaming Weenies. But it is Anubarak who is the first to fall. That was a huge Devouring Maw coming out from Zagara. And it was actually Mumin and his Riptire that were able to keep that Devouring Maw from being even worse. Mumin is in trouble. He ate a full Corruption coming out from Gul'dan. And once again, the Triglav Protector will go over to the side of LuBu, and this top fort will fall. Nazeebo is in the mid lane, getting as much soak as he possibly can. This game has been very light on kills. Only 2 kills. 9 minutes into this game, the Triglav is going for a hike all the way down into the bottom lane, and they will prep once again for this next objective. This is a very surgical approach from the side of LuBu. Grogman and Junkrat are basically ignoring the Triglav and trying to dive the backline as best they can. Rhaegar is cocooned to try to isolate out the kills. Riptire goes out. Does hit Rhaegar for some damage, but once again, it's the members of Screaming Weenies who are under the kill pressure. But once again, no kills for either side in what has been a very scattered engagement for both teams. Anub able to limp to safety. Alan Hicks not able to connect with the drag. And is LuBu going to posture in even more, or are they going to invade onto the siege turret? And that looks to be the move. They're very healthy. They have the level 13 talent tier advantage, and they are going to invade this fortification camp. With Anubarak showing in the top lane, there really isn't a whole lot LuBu can do to stop this, but they're trying anyway. Nazeebo is caught and flipped, limps away to safety. Gary comes out, but not going to get a lot of value. The members of LuBu took their turret and their lunch money, and now they are back in this lower lane, pressuring the last remaining fort for Screaming Weenies. The Haka forced to brush Stalker into the top lane to respond to the split pushing Anubarak. And this will be the third consecutive objective that LuBu will have the advantage in the toy collection department. They currently have 2 turrets. They are holding on to their siege camp. Really heads up smart play. But this is the fight. If you are Screaming Weenies, this is the fight you want. 13 to 15, same talent tier, and you cannot let them get this Biotic Emitter. However, hesitation coming out from the side of Screaming Weenies, and they will not contest this. Instead, they will give up the Biotic Emitter while Anubarak is side-soaking in the bottom lane. I really wish they would have tried to take that engagement. This is going to be the last time in a long time that Screaming Weenies will be on the same talent tier as LuBu. And this is actually a really nice macro play. Look, Screaming Weenies did take their bruiser camp or siege camp in the top lane. All of the members, Zag actually might be in trouble here. Neither one of the stuns landed on the Zag, and it is actually Junkrat that falls first. That was a great idea from Screaming Weenies to catch the Zag. They just weren't able to lock it down. And now the camp just picked up by Rhaegar. The members of Screaming Weenies will clear this out. I should say LuBu will clear this out. They will rotate bottom. They will have 3 items to none. They will have mercenaries pushing in the top lane. They will have Zagnitus creeps on conveyor belts. And barring some colossal misplay or epic engagement from the side of Screaming Weenies, I do not see how this protector is not going to go over to the side of LuBu. However, Screaming Weenies, they do not agree with me. They did take the siege turret. They are posturing here. Early use of the siege turret coming out for LuBu. Diablo taking some poke damage due to getting stuck on the treadmill. Screaming Weenies is posturing. Gary comes out, zoning away the members of LuBu. But there's just so much hesitation from the Screaming Weenies. They can't seem to get a decisive engagement. There's the Shadow Charge. There's the Overpower onto Nazeebo. Here comes the Riptire. Now teams are engaging. That was a huge Riptire by Junkrat. Cocoon goes onto the Gul'dan. There's the one-man Nidus onto only a noob. Lightning Breath actually spinning in circles on the conveyor belt. However, Muradin goes down. Anubarak goes down. Ana goes down. And unless I missed it, I don't think Screaming Weenies used their turret. I think they actually lost it in the battle, so they gave it over to LuBu. If you're going to force that decisive engagement like that, you really want to make sure you at least put your turret down. They didn't though, they lost it instead, and now Screaming Weenies, they are in a big hole. Certainly not impossible to climb out of, and I've seen weirder things happen, but things are looking pretty grim if you're a fan of the Weenies. Pez taking a lot of damage, the Triglav Protector finishing the job. LuBu also has that turret to tank the keep should they want to do that. Gul'dan was caught in a zombie wall, but didn't really seem to mind. Concussion Mine bumping the Zagara out. She simply walks away. Muradin and Junkrat both fall, and this has to be game 2 going over to the side of LuBu, and they will come up with the 2-0 domination over the side of Screaming Weenies. The core is very rapidly falling. So we put it on upset alert before the game. It was not meant to be, though. LuBu definitely played like a team at the top of the standings. They took care of business, picking up the 2-0 over the Screaming Weenies. Game 1 in particular, there were a couple opportunities that Screaming Weenies had, but overall, very commanding performance coming out from LuBu. And we do have a little bit of time, so maybe we'll see if we can get one of these guys into the post-game interview for a little chit-chat. I did mention we do have a second game coming up here in about 30 minutes. It will be a Division A matchup. Should be a good one. Divine 9 versus the Stepdads. I am happy though, even if my heart was broken. We did get to see a Nova in game 1. And that makes my heart burst. Alright, looks like we're going to get a Streak Wing in here from LuBu. Let's jump into one of these handy dandy NGS lobbies.
Hello.
What's going on, Streakwing? Congratulations. The winning ways continue for you guys.
Yes, thank you.
So,
good games.
Yeah, what was... Now, you guys broke my heart, I want you to know, because when I saw them pick Nova, I just wanted to see her win so bad.
Broke our heart a little bit, too.
So
it definitely spiced up the game a bit, for sure.
What was the chatter like when the Nova came out? Because I don't think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I wouldn't guess that was on your radar.
Oh, not at all. I was mostly pretty excited, honestly. a little anxious because you never know, right? The Nova stomps can be real sometimes, but we were mostly interested in playing a game with Nova. We did not expect to do that.
Yeah, she's one of those heroes where it seems like you either get all or nothing with her, and the people who are interested in breaking her out tend to be like, holy moly, this player really knows how to play Nova. My team stopped even joking with me because now they even suggest a Nova, and I'm like, done, locked it in, I'm ready to go. So tell me a little bit about LuBu. You guys new this season. I don't recall you from last season. There were a lot of teams. So how'd you come together? Where'd you come from? Do you know each other? Do you party together? What's up with you guys?
We know, most of us know each other forever, since like grade school.
Oh, fun.
With the exception of Alan Hicks, who we've met in Heroes of the Storm. And we've known each other for, some of us have known each other for close to 20 years. And Alan, we liked playing in Heroes of the Storm with him, so added him to the group. And we haven't had much experience playing as 5 until this NGS. But I think we've enjoyed it quite a bit. We're glad we are participating in it.
Yeah, welcome to your new addiction, because once you start playing Heroes in this type of organized environment, it's the only way to go. I mean, Heroes of the Storm is my favorite.
I can see it.
Yeah, it's my favorite game, but playing with your friends in like an organized league structure like that is just, it's a whole different level of fun.
It's how the game's meant to be played, I think.
100%. So let's talk about Alan Hicks, because in that game 1, he had a sequence where he brush stalkered into the bush, he dragged Blaze, and then you killed him, Blaze. Mm-hmm. And then he walked to the other side of the map, isolationed out Thrall, and you guys killed him. It was like 2 setup kills within the span of 8 seconds. Is he a Dahaka favorite there? Because he looked really strong in that game. I mean, game 2 as well, but game 1 in particular, he was really money on that Dahaka.
Yeah, Alan Hicks scary. That's really all I have to say about Alan Hicks. He's a good guy, and he's good at Dahaka amongst other people. We're always excited to see Isolation, especially, with some epic plays we've done so far.
So, last question from me. You guys coming in as a new team, probably didn't know exactly where you were going to place or how it was going to play out. Talk about what your expectations are for you guys, maybe now after starting so strong in first place, a little bit over halfway through the season, versus expectations when you first signed up and said, let's see how this NGS thing goes.
All right, this is kind of a little funny, honestly, and it's going to sound like I'm humble bragging for a little bit, but
that's all right. Humble brag away.
We literally signed up for NGS and had a little powwow. Like, the goal is to win a single game, right? It's just to play, have fun, and we want to win a single game. And right out of the gate, I think we won round 1. And it was, honestly, at the end of round 1, it was tough to say what our expectations were.
Right.
Because it just, shifted so drastically from hoping to go 1-23 or however many games we played to having already won 6 games. And now I think we're starting to think we can make it to playoffs. Definitely think that's a goal that's on our minds. We still try. Because we started with such low expectations, we still kind of only whisper it. It doesn't seem like
you don't want to jinx it.
Something we want to talk about. Yeah, jinx is a good way to phrase it.
Well, I'm going to go out on a limb and say at 13-1 that you guys are pretty good chance of making the playoffs. All right, man. Well, any shout-outs on your way out the door?
Yeah, I wanna give you a shout-out. Thanks for casting and moderating. And shout-out to Screaming Weenies for some really fun games. Nova Pickup was great. Screaming Weenies are just the essence of Division D.
Yeah, those guys are a lot of fun. They really have a good time.
Great. So shout-out to them. Shout-out to the team for carrying me again. And shout-out to any LuBu fans that might be in Twitch chat.
Oh, you know what? Actually, I do have one more question for you. The name. Is it was Dynasty Warriors or the Three Kingdoms?
It is not.
Okay.
So,
because that's typically when you see the LuBu in a gamer sphere, that's where most people are going to go.
It's here. I'll give you the secret inside info.
Sure.
We mentioned we've met in grade school.
Right.
So my mom would call us as our little grade school group the Lunch Bunch. So LuBu is a derivative of that.
Very cool. And then you guys kind of, because I said anytime you're going to be in a gaming circle and you say LuBu, that's right where they go. But I like the little hidden meaning behind there.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, congratulations again. We'll
Thanks.
look forward to catching you in the playoffs if I don't catch you before. And anybody else in Twitch chat, hang out. We have about 20 minutes before we will be back for a Div A matchup between Divine 9 and the Stepdads. Should be a great matchup. So come back right here, and if I can get my music working, because it wasn't working on the loading screen, if you noticed, we will play some music here in the interim while I get set up for these 2 games. We'll catch y'all back here in about 20 minutes.